Well, if you open the drawing called Three Line Courtyard D, it'll look something like this. We may change it a little as we develop the drawing up, but this is a simple three-line courtyard and very similar to the hand-drawn one that you've done. So there are a series of lines that make up the walls of the courtyard. I haven't drawn them 230mm thick, which they may well have been, and then we just drew some lines to set off the internal paving. So this represents the garden beds through here. So let's, having examined that, let's erase everything. You do that by wrapping a box around the whole lot. I'll hit the escape key and do it again. You can come from the bottom right and click like so, and then right click and then select erase. And we're done. Now what we'd like you to do is to reconstruct that particular drawing, and you can print off a little sample. So it's really quite straightforward. It's just line. Now previously you just started at any random point on the screen. What we'd now like you to do is start at 0, 0, and then just move up here and you know, say 4,000 in that direction, then head off at a 45-degree angle. You have to swing your mouse until you get that beige indicator, and lo and behold, I happen to have fluked 4,000 there, but I will type it. I think it's safer to do that, and we'll come to 6,000, and then we'll come down here 7,000. So that sets the sides of our courtyard, and I'll hit the enter key to finish. Then just use the line command again, so it's draw and line, and just set off your garden bed areas just approximately. You might prefer to keep to that 45-degree angle and then come down through here. So now you have the garden bed area. This can become the paved area. We'll deal with that later. We won't try and pave things here, but what we want you to see is that you can insert your plant symbols very, very easily. If we go draw and insert block, in the drop down arrow here are all the symbols that are already in the drawing. So if I want to bring in a tall tree symbol number 1, I simply pick it and say OK, and in it comes with me, and I can put it down in, say, that position. Once it's in, if I want to, it comes in 3 meters in diameter. If I want to scale it, I just click in the middle and maybe drag it up a little. Let's bring in another one. So draw, insert block. That was tree number 1. Let's pick tree number 9 for some variation, and we'll go OK. Now in comes tree 9. It's still 3 meters. You might say, well, this is a very compact form. It might be one of the Chamaecyparis glauca, so we could scale it down a little. So here's the scale command. Click in the middle and scale in the reverse direction. So there's a very compact and narrow tall tree. Let's bring in the last of these trees. So it's draw, insert block, and we'll bring in, say, randomly tree 5. And here's tree 5. This symbol has some more interesting graphic elements on it, and it's obviously going to be relatively large and overhang the paved area through here. Now we want to bring in some colour. If we did a file and print and preview here, you might be able to see that the lines you drew for the edges of the paved area and the walls are quite dark, but these tall tree symbols are really quite faint. And that's done very deliberately, because what we now want to do is zoom in a little on the garden bed area, and we'll bring in from the library and from the plant selector some coloured symbols. Now you can scroll through here. Let's pick that one there, and we'll put it down in that position there. Now we might want that one to represent a mondo grass. Now these symbols come in 1 meter in diameter. We'll scale. A mondo grass might just be 0.25 of a metre, so we've scaled it down. Now, mondo grass are often planted along the edge. We could move it just a little and move it in, because they'll tend to overhang that edge, and then we can copy it and copy and move up. We can space it 300mm intervals if that's what you desire. So in goes our mondo grass, a series of those in a line. So you can use all of the symbols in the library to choose symbols that look a little like the plant that you have in mind. So here's maybe a tree fern or a macrozamia, and so we could copy it and put several copies of it in. Don't forget to make things look more interesting. Just scale one of these up maybe a little bit, and you might scale one of these down, because that provides you a little more interest. And even rotating them, spinning them around like so, creates more interest. So can you see that using GardenCAD and doing a simple drawing such as this of a courtyard accurately and to size is not too difficult? So that's what we'd like you to do in this little exercise.